Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you had a good weekend. And of course I am back to do a review to our FA Cup defeat at the hands of Preston North End at Deepdale. So yeah, obviously I'll get into that very soon. But as always, I will obviously say, like I say, if you are watching this, please smash the like button. Like I say, it does really help with the algorithm of getting the video noticed. I'm sure you know that by now, but that is just routine of what I say. So yeah, like I say, please hit the like button. It does help the video get noticed. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscription button as well. At 213 subscribers now, which is amazing, really. You know, I just think that it's truly amazing how I'm getting, I'm at least gaining, kind of a subscriber each day. So if we continue like that, and obviously, it would be incredible, because we'll be at 300 before we know it, which is just surreal for me. But yeah, and then also, so yeah, please subscribe and help me get to that target. If you have come across this video by chance, or if you watch me regular but you don't actually subscribe. But anyway, I'm waffling on. I'm sorry guys, I'm sorry. But yeah, of course, comment your thoughts as well. Let me know your thoughts on this defeat, and anything else you want to add. As always, I do reply to every message, every comment I receive, so yeah, feel free to do that. But yeah, let's get into it then. So obviously, the team news was certainly interesting when it came out. Obviously, we had 4 new players making their first start for the club. Obviously, new signing Matt Lowton was in the side, straight in. Tyree Simpson started, and 2 of our B team players, of course, Nicholas Bilakopic and Loic Aina, 2 academy products that we've brought through. Alongside 2 other further changes, obviously Sorba Thomas and Kamara coming into the side. So that made 6 changes that we made for this match. I actually made 6 changes, but I didn't. The personnel is different from what I thought should start. But yeah, 6 changes, freshened up the side, and yeah. So, obviously it was a 3-4-3 formation. Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind it, to be fair. I think it is a good formation. Now, the thing I was surprised about is obviously Matt Lowton at wing-back. I mean, really, obviously he is 33, 32. He should, really, he should be. I believe his best position is a back 4 and playing at right back rather than right wing-back. But so I don't know whether he's comfortable playing there, like I say, or not. But he did look like he did he did have a steady performance on Saturday. But I don't know if his best position is at right back rather than right wing back. But something kind of worth kind of thinking about. But yeah, obviously Tom Lees, Heelick and Aina at the back. So Lowton, Kasumu and Kamara in the middle, with Kessler on the other side. Sorba Thomas, Tyree Simpson down the middle, and Jack Redoni on the left-hand side, yeah. So, it did look, I know it had a fresh feel about it, but it did have quite a nice blend of experience and youth. But yeah, so I wasn't actually that, obviously Bilakopic in goal as well. So yeah, it did have a nice balance to it for me, and I wasn't too disgruntled by the lineup. But obviously, let's get into the game. And obviously, our first chance came from a brilliant Sorba Thomas delivery, which was obviously he crossed it into Redoni, who knocked it back to Simpson, who swung his boot at it and it hit the crossbar. Real big chance for us. And yeah, that was our first real chance of the game. And obviously, again, Sorba Thomas gets another ball in. Leeds gets his shot blocked, drops to Boyle, who heads it across to Canberra, and we score. Of course, this is the goal. We score, make it 1-0. A very good strike, actually, a good finish. On debut as well, Canberra, obviously coming on at half-time. And yeah, it was a nice finish. Let's not get too carried away, though, because he does need to do it consistently. But a very pleasing start to his career at the club. And, you know, if he can provide us with a strike, you know, if he can provide us with a goal every so often, at least we're getting something out of him, which will help us in the fight to survive. So even if he doesn't score every game, my point is if he can chip in with a few goals here and there every couple of games, for example, then, you know, it has been worthwhile getting him, because at the moment, you know, we are, as we know, we do struggle for goals, and obviously any other source of goals from any other player that comes in is always valuable. But yeah, great goal, 1-0 up, of course, and yeah, a brilliant start to his Huddersfield Town career. Like I said, that first half, though, just before, obviously, I'm talking about the second half, but that first half was dreadful, to be honest with you. From both sides, not just, I just think it was a really poor first half from both, really. Very edgy. And yeah, but obviously second half was where all the goals came. Obviously, we had 4 in that second half, 4 goals. But yeah, really pleased for Canberra, and let's hope he can keep it up, like I said. And then obviously they equalise, which, you know, a real sucker punch. Obviously, our lead only lasted a few minutes. Obviously, we scored just before the hour mark, 57th minute. And then we go and concede in the 60th minute, which, yeah, not good at all. Obviously, this comes from a player losing the ball far too easily in David Kasumu. Obviously, lost it near our penalty area. Obviously, Preston then deliver the ball in, and it ends up being an own goal. Leeds puts it into his own net. Tries to get it away, but of course makes a complete hash of it. And yeah, it was unlike Leeds, that really, because obviously he has been dependable for us, and it was a big slice of misfortune, admittedly, but yeah, just really poor, really. It all stemmed from, the point is, it all stemmed from us losing the ball. Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened. So, again, you know, mistakes cost us big time, and you know, we get punished for making silly mistakes. I would much rather Kasumu got the ball upfield rather than holding onto the ball too long and then end up losing it. So yeah, it's one of those. But obviously it was 1-1 at that point. And then comes another glorious chance for us. Canberra. And I said earlier as well, by the way, don't get carried away, because he needs to do it consistently. And what does he go and do? I mean, this was just unbelievable. So it all stems from another mistake, but this time from the Preston goalkeeper. He plays a loose ball. Kasumu's alert to it. Drives into the box. The keeper has to come out then and then put some pressure on. But then Kasumu plays a delightful ball across to Canberra, with him and the defender to beat, and he rushes it, and it's straight at the defender. You know, a big chance, a chance to put us 2-1 up, a real game changer. Had that have gone in, you know, I would have kind of fancied our chances to potentially, you know, to go on and win the game. But yeah, absolutely got to be scoring that, and yeah, very poor. So yeah, so Canberra gets a goal and then should really have had 2, but squanders it. So yeah, not great. Like I say, after that chance we had, obviously then came a level of kind of sustained pressure from Preston, created numerous chances. And then here comes the second goal for Preston. Again, a ball into the box. Kasumu makes a mess of it. It comes off his thigh somehow. And Diaby pounces and rifles it into the corner of the net. Yeah, another poor goal conceded. I mean, you've got to stop that cross coming in. But then, what you don't do is you have to be decisive in the moments in the penalty area. And if you're not, you're going to make hash of it. And Kasumu, you know, responsible for 2 goals. Not 1, 2 goals. Okay, you could say that Leeds was responsible for the first one. But it all stemmed from Kasumu's mistake. And he's obviously ended up, you know, obviously, again, maybe a bit of misfortune for the second goal. The way, obviously, he connected with it. But still, you know, you've just got to put your foot through it and get it clear. And, yeah, obviously, another poor goal conceded from our point of view. And Preston, obviously in the 73rd minute, take the lead. And then every goal, though, that we conceded seemed to get worse. I mean, this third goal that obviously came in the 85th minute, just to seal the win for Preston, came from more terrible defending, I'm afraid. Ball into the box. No one closing him down again. Kessel Hayden just lets his runner come across him for a tap-in. Basics of sticking with your runners. And again, defensively, just not sharp enough. And obviously, Alan Brown scoring in the 85th minute for Preston. 3-1. And game over. And yeah, obviously, they end up seeing out the game and we get knocked out of the FA Cup, of course. I'll share my overall thoughts later. But for now, let's get onto the player ratings for the match. So, obviously, Nicholas Bilakopic, he made his first start for us, of course, like I said, after coming off the bench at this stage of the competition last year. So he made a brief spell for his last season at the same stage of the FA Cup. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you know, he didn't do anything wrong. He was totally powerless for their goal, you know, that they scored, really. You know, he had no protection from his back 3 or 5 when he's obviously defending. But, yeah, obviously he made a great save early on, low stop early on, and looked confident on crosses as well, looked really confident. But I go back to it. I don't fault him for any of those goals that we conceded. So I do feel a bit sorry for him in that regard, because in all fairness, he probably did deserve a clean sheet for how he performed. But so yeah, for me, I'm going to give Bilakopic a 6. I think he was great, looked very solid, and I can't fault him really. So then next up is Tom Lees. Now, I did say the big slice of misfortune. Very unfortunate to obviously score an own goal. Obviously, the cross was fired straight in at him before rebounding into the net. Otherwise, he played really solid though, Lees, to be fair. You know, apart from that, he did very well as always. So for me, 6 for him. Mikael Hellick, yeah, again, another solid and brave performance from him, if I'm honest with you. Helped guide Aina, who obviously the youngster that obviously has never played senior football before. So helped guide him in the opening exchanges of the game, and yeah, did a really good job of that. So for me, I have to give him a rating of 7. Next up, of course, Aina. Like I say, obviously another youngster making his first senior start, playing on the left of the back 3, like I said earlier. He did pick up an early yellow card, and if I'm honest, we were very lucky to escape a second. And then straight away after that, he was immediately replaced, obviously for his own protection, to stop him from getting sent off. Yeah, I mean, he had a really tough afternoon, to be honest with you. He did struggle a lot, but you know, he's a young lad. He's never played in the senior team before. It's all a learning curve, and I'm pretty certain he will learn from this experience. So I'm going to give him a 4 for this performance. I know, obviously, it might sound harsh, but I have to rate what I see, and unfortunately, he did have a bit of a bad afternoon. But I have every faith that, obviously, the thing is if he can go out on loan somewhere, get some senior experience, and then come back, he probably would be able to push on even further and be a lot better, you know, in our team. But, you know, if he's never played senior football, he's bound to be nervous. He's bound to have a bit of a shaky start, and it's just one of those. You know, you've got to, you know, maybe send him out on loan and then maybe get some minutes for him elsewhere, and then he'll be ready to come and challenge for the first team, obviously, when he gets back. But yeah, poor lad. But you learn a lot from these performances, and like I said, I go back to it, I think he will learn a lot and learn from this experience and take it forward. But yeah, next up, of course, Matt Lowton. So straight into the lineup, wasn't he? Made his debut to signing earlier in the week. Absolutely steady away and looks a decent addition. You know, really does. Obviously, early kind of moments of seeing him, and I couldn't get my words out there. So for me, a 6 for Lowton. I think he looked very good. And next up, obviously, David Kasumu. Yeah, I mean, obviously, great interception to get through on goal and set up Canberra for obviously that shot that he should have scored. But yeah, like I said, I go back to it. He couldn't react quick enough to clear the ball after being unsighted by Helik as Preston took the lead. So that mistake that he made, and then also the poor clearance for the third goal. Yeah, just really not good enough, really. For me, I have to give him a 5. I think he didn't do it. The thing is with Kasumu, he seems to struggle with consistent performances, because, as you've probably noticed in the last few games, his rating has gone up, down, and you never know what you're going to get with him, really. He'll always, you know, obviously do, like I said, he did play well in parts, but he's just not consistent enough throughout the game as well. But also, each game that passes, his level of performance seems to be up and down, like I said. So, yeah, Kasumu needs to work on that, really, and obviously keep it a solid, you know, 7 or 8, you know, every time. Easier said than done, I know, but obviously we know what he can do when he's on top form. You know, when he's on it, he's on it, but when he's off it, he is off it. So it's one of those. But hopefully, he can, you know, obviously be able to provide us with more consistent performances in the future. But yeah. Next up, Etienne Kamara. Decent performance, to be fair. Decent, but not brilliant. Obviously Preston had control of much of the flow of the play, so yeah, it was an okay performance, but yeah, like I say, so for me, I have to give him a 5. I think, yeah, it was just okay, nothing more, nothing less. Obviously, Kane Kessler-Hayden switched over to the left from the start, obviously to accommodate Lowton on the other side. Showed some more bright glimpses at times, but, you know, I go back to it was really poor for Preston's third goal, and very poor. Losing your man, there's no excuse. You've got to stick with your runners. So for me, it's a 4. And just to quickly correct myself, the Kasumu goal, he actually was. I was on about the second goal, not the third goal. For the obviously he did make a mistake for the first goal, Kasumu, but then it was the second goal that it came off his thigh, and then obviously Diaby rifled it into the net, pouncing on that mistake. So yeah, my apologies for that. But yeah, Kessler Hayden was pretty much responsible for that third goal. So yeah, glad that reminded me. But yeah, for not good enough really. You can't afford, to be, obviously rating so low like that. It's just not good enough. And again, consistency with Kessler Hayden. It's all right. Like I said, he did show some more bright glimpses. But the reality is across the board, he was rated a 4 from myself, and I just think that that's just not good enough. You've got to be consistent across the whole board, and yeah, not good at all. Sorba Thomas obviously came back in for this one. Obviously, yeah, I mean, he was good with his link-up play and played obviously a part in the opening goal. But again, wayward with his final ball more often than not, and more often than we'd like. It's just not really good enough either. This, it was a lot. He was brighter than any other other recent showings that we've seen from him, and he did play 3 different roles over the course of the game. But for me, it's still not good enough from Sorba, because we know what he's capable of, and I don't know if it's just me, but his body language does look quite poor, and I've noticed this, and it's frustrating to see, because you want to see the old Sorba back, where obviously how good he was last season, we know that, but you want to see that old Sorba back, but he just doesn't seem to have the desire or hunger to be that player like he was last season. I don't know why. So yeah, a 5 for Sorba for me. Next up, Jack Radoni. Obviously, he still managed to maintain his relationship with Kessler Hayden, but on the left flank this time. Strong defensively, he looked most likely to create something in the final third in his 45 minutes on the pitch. So for me, I'm giving Jack a 6. I think he's always a steady 6 or 7, Jack, I think, or higher. So yeah, another good performance, to be honest with you. And obviously he did only play 45 minutes. So yeah. Now, obviously, as I said earlier, obviously Ina did come off in the 38th minute, obviously, because he was on the final straw of getting a sending off. So Boyle replaced him. Obviously, great awareness to set up Canberra's goal with a great knockdown. And yeah, obviously, for me, once Pearson gets back, though, he should be coming back into the side, in my opinion, because Boyle has shown good moments, but it's like, I feel like he slows the game down too much. I mean, to be honest with you, at times our play is slow overall anyway, not just Boyle, but I just think his passing, going forward, his passing is awful. And, but to be fair, he came in this game and he did very well. Obviously, he did get an assist. So, yeah, for me, I think he deserves a 7 for this performance on Saturday. But yeah. And obviously, Dwayne Holmes came on for Radoni at half-time. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, but it's all right running around, being energetic, but if you don't have any impact in the game, it is pointless. So, and for me, Holmes didn't have any impact when he came on. So for me, I'm giving him a 4. Very poor, really. And yeah. And then obviously, Simpson came on. No, Simpson came off, sorry. And Canberra come on at half-time. Great goal, obviously, he scored from closer range. But he wasted a golden chance, like I said earlier, to restore the lead by really rushing that shot that he had. For me, it has to be a 6 for him, Canberra. And yeah, obviously, hopefully we can see more goals from him in the future. But it'll be really ruining that chance he got, in that second chance he got. Because he even came out after the game and said he should have got that second goal in as well. But yeah, obviously Diarra came on for Lowton in the 70th minute. Went into attacking midfield as Thomas moved to wing back. Didn't have the impact he had on Boxing Day, obviously, the last time we were at deep down in the league. So for me, a 5. He did okay, but yeah, not really did much here. So yeah, and obviously Keane Harrett obviously came on, but it was too late to give him a rating. So yeah, obviously I'm not giving him a rating. But what I did want to mention about Keane is obviously he has returned back from Bradford after his loan spell. He looked bright to be there when he came on. Obviously, it didn't take him long to get a half chance, and obviously it was from a tight angle. Hits the side netting, but yeah, he looked lively when he came on, and obviously I'm looking forward to seeing more of him this season. I think he's going to be, I think he's going to play quite a bit, a big part in our season. I think, and we'll see a few more. I think we'll see a bit more of him from now until the end of the season. But yeah, that is my player ratings done, of course. So yeah, and here is my overall thoughts, obviously in more details now. I mean, look, going out of the cup is not a big deal in the grander scheme of things, is it? But I go back to it. Defensive frailties have come back. Have come back in the past 2 games, which has seen us squander the lead in both games. And that is worrying. It's becoming worrying again. It's not good enough, because the reality is, like I said, we go 1-0 up against Luton in the league at home, and then we absolutely squander the lead there. And then same again on Saturday against Preston away. The game management, the defensive errors that have just absolutely, really had, in terms of our season, we've seen a lot of this season defensively, not, just not on it. And yeah, it's worrying, and it isn't good enough, and we have to really start getting our act together again, because like I said, we made 2 positive steps forward in the obviously the wins against Rotherham and Rotherham. Yeah, we beat Rotherham obviously, and it's one of those where you're looking at it and you're thinking to yourself, we just cannot afford to keep making these defensive errors. And it's one of those where if you start to, obviously, with recent games happening, and obviously we losing the lead twice in the last 2 games, it can then become a mental thing. So yeah, we won 2 on the bounce, as we know, against Preston away and then Rotherham. But then we take 2 steps backwards by losing against Luton after being 1-0 up, like I said, and losing against Preston after being 1-0 up. And yeah, it's really, really frustrating and disappointing, isn't it? And yeah, it has to improve in the next. It's a big 2 games coming up now for us in the league. For me, another thing that I picked up on, again, clinical edge, still an issue, even despite more options. Obviously, Canberra, if he scores that 2nd goal, which he has to do, he has to score that 2nd goal, then for me it's a different game. We had various opportunities throughout the match, and yeah, you've got to be clinical. So yeah, even though Canberra did score, it's one of those where clinical, we're just not clinical enough. Yeah, again, it's apparent to me, obviously, more signings are needed at the club. And final point, obviously, yeah, the focus is all on the league now, which is the priority, which I said before in the, in the preview show. it is, the league's a priority. Like I said, 2 massive games coming up against Hull away and Blackpool away. So both away games, 2 away games on the bounce. For me, we're going to have to be picking up at least 4 points from these next 2 games, because otherwise it's going to become concerning again. Because, you know, it's one of those. It's going to, obviously I will touch upon the future games in the next videos, but yeah, massive few weeks coming up now for us, really. So yeah, like I say, we're going to have to cut out those defensive frailties again and start from scratch again after blowing the lead, you know, losing the last 2 games. So yeah, improvements need to be made, and quickly, starting this weekend against Hull. And then obviously final point again, I know I just seem like I'm whining on here, but you know, this game obviously yet again ended with Matt Fotheringham going straight down the tunnel. And for me, it is very, very much annoying and really angers me, really, because, you know, it would be nice to have some sort of acknowledgement, you know, to the fans who obviously paid their hard-earned money to go to games, not just this game, but week in, week out, we are there supporting the team. And I don't think, you know, in fact, I categorically 100% know that he has not come over to clap the fans to show any kind of appreciation, you know, in any of the games since he's come through the door. And yeah, appreciation costs nothing. And but yeah, he feels like he doesn't have to do it or need to do it. Well, I'm sorry, but you know, for me, he's one of the most unlikable managers that I've ever known. And I go back to it. Disappointment was, I didn't understand, you know, I didn't understand or agree with him coming in the first place, you know, and obviously so a rebuild of the squad is not only needed, a fresh approach needs to be taken. But the problem we have is, with no owner at the moment, with Hard looking to sell, nothing can really happen on that front in terms of, you know, changing the manager, getting rid of the board, you know, clear out the board. Let's have a clean slate and let's start building again, because it's just not good enough. You know, for me, you know, Bromby has to depart with Fotheringham, and the sooner the better, because it's just becoming tiresome now. You know, in all due respects, you need people in the club that are going to be benefiting the club and are actually making the right decisions. And I'm afraid there's been too many wrong decisions being made, as we know, and it's you know, this has seen the demise of us this season. And yeah, you know, we you know, you go on the cheap in everything you do, you get cheap results. I go back to it, and obviously we do still have a chance of staying up now, obviously with recent form, obviously without them 2 wins that we got over the festive period, but it's still going to be very, very close, and we, you know, we need to be getting away from that relegation zone as soon as possible. But we need some more additions. I don't, like I say, for me, I don't know if I'm, you know, if it's just me, but I kind of feel like I've completely lost all faith in the board at the moment. I do, because there's just no clarity. There's no improvements, you know, across the board in terms of the season we've had so far, and the decisions that have been made. Countless wrong decisions being made, and yeah, it's led us to be in this mess that we're in now. So yeah, but obviously that is it. That is all on topics for this video. Like I say, thank you all for watching. Like I say, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let's get to 300 subscribers as soon as possible. It would be amazing to get there. Yeah, comment your thoughts down below on anything discussed in this video, and also any other additional comments you want to make. Obviously, I always reply to every single one, so yeah, be good to hear from you. But yeah, have a good rest of the week. I'll actually be back tomorrow. So you've got some more content coming tomorrow with another transfer show. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, have a nice evening, and I'll see you all on the next one. Come on, you Terriers, and up the town.